In Photoshop, I've opened up the .png and the metal plate with the rivets that we're going to use for our texture. I'm going to select the PNG and I'm going to put a new blank layer in it by going down to the bottom of the layer window and clicking on the icon to the left of the trash can. I'm going to start out with that layer as black. I'm going to hit D on the keyboard, and when I do, it gives me black and white for my swatches. I'm going to get the paint bucket tool and I'm going to fill the layer with black. I'm going to move the layer down so it's below the actual UV map. Now we're going to copy and paste the texture we're going to use from its place of origin into our texture. I'm going to go to my Move tool, I'll hit V, and then with the texture selected, I'll go to Select All. I'll go to Edit Copy, and then to the rocketskin.png and choose Edit Paste. Now I want to make a pattern of this, but I'd like it to be tighter. So I'm going to scale down this texture, and then I'm going to make the pattern out of it. I'm going to transform it. I'm going to hit Command T to get the transform tool, and I guess I'll scale this down to about 60%. And I'm going to save this now as a PSD. Now I'm going to zoom in on that material. And I'm going to get my marquee and make a selection around it. So I'll click on the marquee and I'll drag a selection as closely as I can around that design. I'm going to turn off the UV map because if I were to leave that on and define the pattern, part of that UV map would be in my pattern. Once I've made my selection, I will go to Edit, Define Pattern. I'll click OK. And I'm going to hit Command D to deselect. Now I'm going to fill this layer with the pattern I just created. So I will go to Edit, Fill, and I'm going to go from the Content window, I will choose Pattern. And then from Custom Patterns, I will choose the last entry in the menu to access what I just created. Now I've got the texture, and I'm going to turn the UV map back on. At this point, it gets pretty much your own choice on how you want to kind of proceed with this custom pattern. But what I will do now is I will go in and I will fill the circle that I had created here to put the circles on the tip of the rocket. So I'll turn the texture back on. I'll click on a new layer icon. I will get my marquee tool, but I'm going to use the elliptical marquee. And I'm having a difficult time seeing this, so I'll turn off the pattern for a moment. And I'll hold the Shift key to drag a perfect circle. I'll go to Window, Swatches. I'll start with yellow. And I'll get my paint bucket by hitting G. I'll click inside of it. And now I'm going to go back to my marquee. Because if I go back to the marquee, I can now right-click, choose Transform Selection, hold down the Shift and the Option, and if I drag in, I get a smaller circle. I'm going to fill that with red, Option Delete, Command D to deselect. Now we're ready to go in and see how this looks on Maya. I'll turn the design pattern back on. I'll turn off the UV map, hit Command S on the keyboard, and now I'll go into Maya. Now in Maya, I'll right-click on any selected piece of the rocket and choose Material Attributes. I'm going to right-click directly on the word Color and choose Break Connection. Now I'll introduce the texture that I just made. I'll click on the checkerboard, I'll choose File, click on the folder, go to the desktop, choose my texture, and there we have it. And that's how we would texture our rocket.